thank you for joining me. Today we're going to be doing a full-length reformer class. I like to call it the keep your shoulders down your back class. We're going to be working on scapular stability today. We're going to go ahead and begin just by sitting on the very edge of our reformer, trying to locate our neutral spine, sitting on our sits bones, placing our weight primarily into our heels, hoping to engage the back of our body, squeezing our glutes ever so slightly to sit up a little higher, drawing our belly to our spine, bringing our ribs together, drawing our shoulders up, back, and down immediately. We might feel a little tight. Hopefully we'll work that out. I'm squeezing my legs together to go ahead and start warming up my inner thighs on this as well. Take my right hand and raise it up to the ceiling. And then I'm going to place my left hand right here, right at my armpit on my scapula. I'm going to shrug my shoulder up to my ear and slide my shoulder down my back. From the side, it's going to look like this. I'm going to raise it up and slide it down. We're going to inhale in the raise, exhale in the slide. When you reach it, don't reach up your ribs with it. We're isolating our shoulder blade movement so that we can make sure that it stays down our back. Doing the exercises. Here's 7. And here is 8. Now keeping that nice wide flat shoulder blade, I'm going to flip my palm away from me. I'm going to drop my hand down, coming straight out of my shoulder, and bring it all the way down, keeping my shoulder blade flat the entire time. My elbow is slightly bent to my side. Bring it to my shoulder, up by my ear, without raising it. Only bring your arm up as high as you can without bringing your shoulder to your ear. Ribs in, abdominals up and in, lifting up. Let's just do one more arm raise. Again, isolating just our arm, not rotating in our rib region or our torso at all. From there, I'm going to raise my left arm up. One side's always a little tighter than the other side. If this is it, go ahead and bend your arm slightly further to the side to assist you with the lowering of your shoulder from your ear and the flattening of your shoulder blade or your scapula on your back. Placing my right hand on my right here, I'm going to shrug my shoulder. I'm sorry, my lap. Lost the word for a second. And exhale. Inhale and exhale. On the second one that I did, I saw my ribs raise slightly. I felt it as well. I need to be a little bit more mindful of that myself. So I'm just going to slow down my movement. Really tap into squeezing in my ribs on this side. My obliques are working. They're not squeezing, but I am using them for this. Draw my shoulder down. Flip my palm away from me. Place my right hand somewhere comfortable. I like it on my thigh right now. I'm going to take it straight in front of me. Shoulder blade flat and wide down my back. And lower. And come to my shoulder again. And up. By pausing midway, I can reassess my shoulder, draw my shoulder blade down my back further, and make sure that I'm not whipping through the movement and using my shoulder to get up or down. So I'm going to mindfully raise my arm and bring it up. All the way. Let's go ahead and do one more. And front, down to the hip, out of the shoulder, up in the air. Good. From there, I am going to place one red spring on. We are still doing a breathing warm-up for our shoulder blades. We're drawing them down our back before we begin with footwork, which will also be primarily used for shoulder blade flattening and widening. I'm going to place my arms wide on the foot bar to the very edges. My foot bar is the width of my reformer. If your foot bar is wider than that, if it feels good, it's helping you draw your shoulder blades down your back, please continue with it. But try to draw them to the frame of your reformer eventually for this. So my shoulder blades up, back, and down. When you do that, don't flare out in your ribs. You don't want to dump out the front. You want to draw your ribs together. Abdominals up and in. I'm going to press out. I'm looking down at my springs. I'm drawing my belly button in. I'm in a flat back position, or as much of a flat back position as I can get to in here. So I'm not rounding in, looking at my belly button. I'm looking straight down into my springs. From there, leaving my shoulder blades flat and wide, I'm going to widen my elbows to the side, let flare my ribs, bringing my forehead towards the foot bar, and straighten my arms. Inhale, and exhale. Let's go ahead and speed it up slightly if you're able to. If not, please continue at the speed where you are. Here's 6. Wide shoulder blades, not up to your ears when you straighten your arms. If they go up to your ears, don't straighten your arms. So here's 8. Now, in an arm straightened springs stretch position, wherever you are, go ahead and shrug both shoulders up to your ears and slide it down your back. And shrug and slide. Feel how the spring helps you to place your shoulder blades down your back. Nice long neck. My ears are by my biceps. And 8. Go ahead and bend your arms. Stack your spine up. Reset your position. Draw your abs in, ribs down, shoulders up, back, and down. My arms are slightly bent. We're going to hinge at the shoulders like a pike for our arms and body. We're going to press out, drawing your belly button up and in, looking down at the springs, and pull back up, pulling in under our arms, drawing our ribs together, drawing our belly buttons up and in. Squeeze in on the foot bar to firmly draw the carriage to the bumper and press back. 1 medium spring here again. For me, that's 1 red. It will assist you in the exercise. This is just a gentle warm-up. And inhale back. And exhale up. Here's 7. Shoulders down your back. And here is 8. Squeeze it in 1 more time. Drawing down under your arms, squeezing your ribs, drawing your belly button to your spine, and release. From there, before we go ahead and move, I'm going to add some springs. I use 4 springs for my footwork, whichever footwork springs you prefer. Here in my studio, we use 3 green and 1 red, which is 3 heavy and 1 medium. We get a little more oomph out of our footwork. My trainer, Katie Rowley, taught me that, and that's how I teach my clients as well. I am going to be using these 2-pound weight balls for footwork. I prefer the weight balls because otherwise my clients have a tendency to really grip through their fingers and feel it in their forearms. When you use the weight ball, you can really feel the weight in your hand and allow it to sit there. But if all that you have are hand weights, please go ahead and grab those, 2 to 3 pounds. 4 springs on. Head rest up. Come lying on your back. The first place we're going to go is Pilates feet on your heels. Locate your sacrum, the area between both of your back hip bones and your tailbone. Flatten it on the mat. Drop your belly to your spine as if your weight ball sitting on your tummy, drawing your belly button to your spine. Draw your ribs together, shoulder blades flat and wide. Balls touching together in the center. Hug a tree arms. Coming out over where your 12th rib and sternum meet. Leaving them there, feeling your shoulder blades flatten. Or bring your arms right here. But we're going to start right here. Just remember this position. But if you need a little help during the movement, come up here, bring it back. We're going to inhale to press out, squeezing everything, and exhale to draw it back in. And inhale, and exhale. Speed it up a little bit. Make sure you're working from the glutes so that you can really start to get that heat through your legs. Here's 8. Now, from there, we're going to bring balls of our feet on, heels off, rotating our femur in our hip socket, still working Pilates feet. Inhale to press out, dropping our left arm to hug a tree, and exhale back. Inhale, drop our right arm. Really feeling that shoulder blade flatten on the carriage. And open and close. And squeeze it up. Zip it up at the top. Pause slightly before you resist the springs back in. Don't allow the springs to do all the work. Do I know they're heavy? Yes, I do. But we're using this to ready our bodies for the work that is to come. And from there, we're going to go wide on the heels, still in the Pilates V position. We're going to do a full hug a tree movement. From here, make sure that you still have tension on the inner thighs. We're going to inhale to pull out, open our arms to a wide hug a tree position, still rounded, and exhale back in. And inhale, exhale. Don't tuck to press out. Make sure that you're maintaining a neutral spine. Drop your belly to your spine. Shake out your neck. Really enjoy the movement. And 8. From there, we're going to come onto our toes. Still in the wide Pilates feet position. You're starting to get the pattern. Heels, toes, heels, toes. We're going to raise our arms straight up to the ceiling. Again, coming out of where our sternum and 12th rib meet. From here, we're just going to drop our elbows down and lift them back up. And 2. Here's 3. Continue to work the rotation of the femur and the hip socket. Here's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, wrap your ribs, and 10. From there, we're going to go ahead and come in, squeezing our leg into one giant mega leg. Coming onto the heels of our feet, bringing our balls together, making sure you don't flare your ribs during this. We're going to do skull crushers. We're going to press out, bring the balls down to our forehead, and then press it straight back up. We're just hinging at our elbow here. Our shoulder blades are still flat. If you find this is troublesome for you, separate it and continue the movement. Squeeze up through the glutes and inner thighs. Here's 8 and 9 and 10. From there, we're going to come down to the balls of our feet. Drop our balls down to our side. High heel, forced arch, down knee point position. Squeezing the inner foot, our ankles, knees, toes, and calves. We're going to press out, bicep curl, and release. Nice wide shoulder blades. 3. And inhale, and exhale. And squeeze. 6. The speed of this footwork is meant to increase your blood flow, really prep you up for the work that's coming, but if you need to go slower, please do so. And 8. From there, we're going to come up to a high heel position, press out one more time. I'm going to drop one heel under, and as I do that, I'm going to lift my hand up to the ceiling on the opposite side, and release. And then the other side. Reaching my other hand up, straight to the ceiling, release. Bring my hand up to a 90-degree angle, drop my heel, and again. Bring both heels up before you release the other heel down. To really squeeze a good ankle, calf work out of the movement. One more on each side. And now, staying up at the top, bring your arms up. We are going to drop both heels under, bring our both hands all the way up, and bring both heels up and bring both hands to the ceiling. Drop both heels, drop both hands, and lift, and lower, and lift. Here's 4. While you're here, see if you notice that one hip feels lighter or heavier than the other hip. Try to draw down on the side that doesn't feel as heavy, and see if you can equal out the work. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. One more. And exhale. Bring your balls down to your side. Drop your heels under. Bend your knees ever so slightly. Relax here for one moment. Go ahead and draw your knees in. And come all the way into the back. We can go ahead, get rid of our balls. We won't be needing them again for class. So, from here, what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to drop it down to our hundreds arms. For myself personally, in my class, we use one medium, one light. That's one red and one blue. If you don't have the option of a blue, one red is perfectly fine. We are going to be doing quite a bit of work down here. We are going to be doing some short lever work arms, followed by the same series in a long lever arm. So short lever arms with our biceps on the mat, squeezing into our rib cage. Long lever with the arms fully extended. Half are going to be done, pardon me, ooh, lost my strap. Half are going to be done with our headrest, our head resting on the headrest. The other half are going to be done with a curl up. Come down, Bring my legs to tabletop. Grab my straps. Bring my biceps into my ribs, shoulder blades flat and wide. Now, with my arms in parallel, I'm going to drop straight down to my hips and come back up. As I press down, I'm not going to allow my shoulders to pop up. I'm going to pull them down by shooting energy out of my fingers. Here's 3. And now I'm going to bring my hands forward and come up into a curl up. My forearms are still resting on the mat. And come back down. And curl up. And down. Raising my head, neck, and shoulders, leaving space between my chin and my chest, bringing my belly button to my spine. From there, I'm going to bring my arms out into a V position. No wider than the width of the reformer. Inhale, exhale, curl, bringing my hands to my hips, and then separating them to a V. I'm sorry, I have not curled up yet. Here's 2. And 3. If you did a curl up, please go ahead and do another one with your head down. Otherwise, we're going to go inhale, exhale to curl up, and lower, and curl up, and lower. Here's one more, and lower. From here, we're going to bring our arms out to a T. Shoulders flat and wide. Arms are out to the side of the machine. Don't pop your ribs. I think this looks like a baby bird. Inhale, exhale, pull your hands down to your hips, and release. The insides of my palms are meeting my hips. And here's 3. Inhale, exhale to curl up as you reach into your sides. And release. And curl up. And release. And one more. And release. Long lever, arms out to the side. Draw your hands down, head, neck, and shoulders down. And pull back up. Feel your nice, wide shoulder blades. Flat on the carriage. Don't allow your shoulders to round up and in when you're here. Engage under your arms to pull the straps down to your hips and up. Inhale, exhale to curl up. Still nice wide shoulder blades. Back down. And exhale to lift. Dropping your belly to your spine. Leaving enough space between your chin and your chest for an egg. You don't want to crunch your egg. You don't want to release your egg. You want to keep your egg nice and safe. Bring your arms out to a V, no wider than the width of the reformer, and pull in, leading with your pinky blade edge. Or more weight in your pinky blade edge. You'll really feel the engagement underneath your arms. One more here. And now we're going to add the curl up with that movement. And lower. And exhale to lift. Curling up over your sternum. Not crunching at your neck to curl up. And down. Bringing our arms out to a T. Final set. Exhale, wrap your ribs and pull your hands, your palms into your hips. And release. As your arms float up, pull your shoulders down as your arms lift so that they don't come up to your ears. All right, let's add the curl up with the T. Curl it up, reaching long with your fingers to assist with the curl up. Pull your shoulders down and exhale to lift. And release it down. Let's do one more. And let's go ahead and come back down. From there, we're going to raise our hands up to the ceiling. Inhale to prepare. Exhale to curl up, extending our legs to our working level for hundreds. And we're going to inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale. Really see if you can rotate your hip and the hips tuck in a little further. Really squeeze in on your glutes. Squeeze your inner thighs. Squeeze your heels to engage your inner legs as well. Go ahead and drop your belly to your spine. Wrap your ribs. Widen your shoulder blades while you shoot energy out of your hands to reach strongly towards the foot bar. Inhale. So make sure you're not crunching your chin to your chest. If at any time you need to drop your head, neck, and shoulders, please do so. Let's do one more set of 10. So let's count. Draw your knees into your chest. Raise your arms as you rest your head, neck, and shoulders. Woo. Take your straps. We're going to come up to sitting. I am going to do arms on one blue today. If you need to do your arms for one red, you're more than welcome to. The way to adjust for the different weight is I'm going to be closer to the edge of my carriage. If you have to use a heavier spring and one light, please scoot as close as you can to your shoulder blocks so that your spring will be a little lighter. All right. knees are lined up with my front shoulder block. I'm sitting back on my knees. I'm in a neutral spine position with my abdominals up and in, ribs together, shoulders back and down. From here, I'm going to squeeze my glutes. And without changing the box of my body from my shoulders to my hips, I'm going to press my hips forward, open up to the front, and sit up to kneeling. From there, I'm going to release at my hip flexors. Without changing the box of my body again, I'm going to release my glutes to my heels. And I'm going to squeeze, draw my abdominals up and in to lift, leaving my shoulder blades flat down my back. Slowly, with control. Inhale to lift, squeeze, 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 keeping a neutral spine the whole time, and release back down with control. It's as if I have a pole coming out of my head, coming out through my tailbone, and I cannot move my body. I can only hinge at my hips with my legs. Let's do one more. And lower back down. Don't cheat, don't cheat. Give it all to me. Squeeze the juice out. Good, you want to squeeze the juice out of every exercise. From there, I'm going to locate my front strap. I'm going to come up to kneeling. I'm going to squeeze it so the blade of my hand is in front of my shoulder blade. I'm squeezing my glutes still to open up. Draw my ribs here, draw my abdominals up and in. Taking a look at myself in the mirror to make sure that my body is aligned. I am going to shade my face, slide my arm up, and slide it back down. I'm not leaning into it to get this. I'm only going as far as I can, leaving the box of my body stable. When you feel your arm start to be pulled back, or you start to feel the need to incorporate the rest of your body, stop the movement and go back down. Regroup, and start again. I'm really feeling this in my working arm oblique. Go ahead and place your hand on your hip if you like. And here is 8. From here, I'm going to take my strap in my opposite hand. Place my hand closest to the shoulder blocks on my hip. I'm going to look forward through this whole thing. It's going to be half an unsheathed sword. My focus is on keeping my scapula down my back. So I'm going to roll my shoulder up, back and down. And I'm going to pull up until my fist is at my armpit. And I'm going to slide it back across. I'm not allowing my shoulder to round in. And I'm pulling up. And I'm coming back down. Squeezing my glutes to press my hips forward. Open up out of the front of my hip flexors. Drawing my abdominals up and in. Here we go. Very slowly. There's 7. And lower. And here is 8. And lower. I'm going to take my handle in my back hand again. Sit back onto my heels. From here, I'm just going to place my hand, my front hand, over the fingers of my strap hand. I'm going to pull in to hug a tree. My carriage is coming away from the bumper. If you're up against the shoulder blocks, it will not. From here, I'm just going to twist. And inhale. And exhale to twist. Making sure that I have even weight on both of my heels. One more. And now I'm going to add on the warm-up movement that we did at the beginning where we raised our hips and kept the box of our body completely stable and unmoving. We're going to add that. I'm going to begin to squeeze up as I twist. When I come to center, I'm fully up. And I'm going to rotate the rest of the way to the front, leaving my hips forward. I'm going to come back down. When I get to center, I'm going to begin to lower my glutes to my hips, twisting to the back. And I'm going to come up. To center, and begin to sit, and sit up, squeeze, 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 twist, and center, and lower. Let's do one more, up, and twist, shoulder blades down your back, very stable. Bend your elbows in more if you need more of the shoulder blade down your back situation. And then release the straps so that you go all the way into the carriage. Carefully with control. Come and face the center. My toes are touching, my knees are separated, my big toes are in the crease where my carriage or my headrest meet. I'm going to locate my other strap. I'm going to bring my hands down to my natural waist. My hand is right here, it's not in front. Let's start right here, guys, unless you have shoulder issues. I'm drawing my shoulders up, back, and down. I'm thinking of tweezing my shoulder blades at the very bottom, not at the top so that I get this. I want this. Draw your ribs together. And now serve the platter. Drawing your hands forward, stopping where your sternum or your 12th rib meet, and pulling them back. This is a lighter spring. We're working on maintaining scapula stabilization. We're not allowing our shoulder blades to round in when our arms are extended in front of us. Draw your abdominals up and in. Your ribs are wrapped together as if you're wearing a very tight corset. Here's 7. 1 more. Here is 8. Now, hug a tree that we've been talking about so much. We're going to bring our arms, drop our hands slightly so that our shoulders aren't up by our ears. Drop them down to where your sternum or your 12th rib meet. When your fingers touch in the center, they should touch directly in front of where your sternum or your 12th rib meet. And open. And exhale. And inhale. Really wrap your ribs as your fingertips draw closer together. And try to keep that wrap as you separate them. Now stop here for a moment. Inhale. And now exhale to draw your fingers together. Oh, sorry, we just did it. We're going to inhale our fingers together in front and exhale over. Don't worry, I'm still keeping count. Inhale. Don't allow your arms to float behind you. 4. And now bring your hands down to your side. Again, don't allow your arms to go behind you. We're going to raise our arms up to the center, open them to a T, and bring them down to our hips. Keeping our scapula all the way down our back and completely stable. The movement is small. Make sure that instead of just swinging through it, you're hitting all the checkpoints. To the front, to the side, to the hips. Now reverse. To the side. Squeeze under, wrapping your ribs to bring your arms to the front and down to the hips. To the side. To the front and squeeze. To the hips. 2 more. Side or T. Parallel arms to the hips. 1 more. T. And hips. Go ahead and peg your straps. We're going to do the other side, arms. So I'm going to come to the front of my machine again. My toes are touching in the back. My knees are separated slightly. I'm going to find the box of my body. Shoulders directly over my hips. Wrap my ribs, draw my abdominals up and in, and squeeze it to come up. Squeezing my glutes to open up through the front of my hips. And sit back down without moving your body. And squeeze it up. This is an exercise all about control and breath, precision, concentration. We're really working the Pilates principles here. I only mentioned a few of them. Let's do 2 more. Ribs together. And lower. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And 1 more. Squeeze it up. Now really juice this exercise. Squeeze the juice out of it. Squeeze those glutes. And then you're going to lower. With control. Locate the strap that's closest to your knees. Again, if you had not, which I did not, go ahead and make sure that your knees are lined up with a shoulder block. Right in the front so that you don't hit yourself with the strap or anything. Squeeze it up to squeeze, rise up. Open your hip flexors, abdominals up and in. Bicep, squeezing your ribs. Blade of the hand by the face. Raise it up. Only go as high as you can without scrunching your shoulder to your ear to get it up higher or raising your ribs. Here's 2. Here's 3. Squeeze your glutes. 4. Abs up and in. Hand on your hip if you'd like. 5. 6. Here's 7. I feel like I had more mobility on my other side. Here's 8. From there, I'm going to take my hand closest to the foot bar. Grab my handle. Hand closest to the headrest on my hip. Draw my shoulders up, back, and down. Bring my hand over to my hip. I'm not going to rotate to watch my strap. I'm going to pull my strap across my body. Stopping, my fist gets to my armpit. Release it back down to my hip, leaving my shoulder blade down my back. Here's 2. And lower. Here's 3. Squeeze your glutes harder to open up the front of your hips. 4. Wrap your ribs. Bring your shoulders over your hips. Here's 2 more. Here's 7. And 8. From here, I'm going to place my strap on my back hand again. Come to sitting. Place my headrest or my footbar hand gently over the fingers of my back hand so that I'm not actually doing any work with this hand. It's just along for the ride. I'm going to look back at my uprights and exhale forward. And inhale back. And exhale. If it's more comfortable for you to reverse the breath, I think that's great. I just want to make sure that you're breathing. Really squeeze of the exercise. Leave equal weight from your hips to your heels. And now we're going to add the lift. So, as if there's a rod running through the top of my head, out through the bottom of my tailbone, and I can't move my body, I'm going to squeeze it up. I come all the way up when my strap comes in front of me, and I twist the rest of the way. Abs stairs, lower abs in, and when I come to the middle, lower it back down. And come across. On the exhale. Back to the center, and begin to lower. We have 2 more, and raise up. And rotate. When I get to the center, I begin to sit back down. And 1 more. Squeeze your glutes. Strongly, strongly, strongly. And back to center. And back down. Excellent job, guys. Now we're going to do some forearm work. So if you'd like, please feel free to go ahead and place 1 red spring on. Check my notes real fast. I'm going to go ahead and drop my footbar. If you'd like a pad for your standing platform, please go ahead and get it. I'm going to go ahead and bring my toes to the front of my foot, to the front, but my balls of my feet are still on. I just have my toes over the front edge slightly. I come down onto my forearms. My shoulders are directly over the heels of my hand. I'm in a Sphinx position. I'm going to hover my knees, and I'm going to press out. Now from there, I'm going to tuck my knees. I'm going to have to pike ever so slightly at my hips so that my knees can clear my carriage. I'm leaving my shoulders over my elbows the whole time. Drawing my abdominals up and in. I'm wrapping my ribs. I'm in a neutral spine from the tip top of my head down through my tailbone. So I'm not looking down or looking ahead. Here's 7. And here's 8. From there, I'm going to pike up at my hips and lower. When I pike, my head's going to drop. I'm going to look through to my toes. Because again, I'm in a neutral spine from the tip top of my head out to my tailbone. Here's 5. Abs up and in. Inhale up. And here's 7. And here is 8. I'm going to press down. I'm going to rotate my heels. They're not connected with the standing platform, but they are swaying to the left side when my toes are swaying there. I'm going to bend my knees and straighten. And 2. 3. 4. Feel your obliques. 2 more. We're only going to 6. And 6. And now we're going to pike up and down. Don't allow your tail to sway. Elbows, or shoulder over elbows. Here's 4. After this, we get a child's pose. 5. Abs up and in. And 6. Come back through center. Bring your heels to the right, your toes to the left, and bend and straighten. Leaving your shoulders over your elbows. 2. Abs up and in. Leaving a neutral spine all the way to the top of your head. 5. One more. And now we're going to pike and lower. 2. I feel it definitely in my arms. 3. Ups, up and in. Oh, that's all I can think about. Squeeze your legs. Here's 5. This seemed like a lot better idea when I was choreographing it. And 6. Come back to center. Bend your knees. Rest them on the carriage. Drop your headrest if you'd like. Sit back on your heels. Place your head down. And reach out long with your arms. On the carriage frame. Go ahead and take a couple nice deep breaths. I forgot to mention it, but I hope that everyone was able to feel their scapula nice and wide on their shoulder blades, and they were rounding in on it. Whew. From here, I'm going to go ahead and re-raise my headrest. I'm going to turn around. We are going to do some long stretch series right now. I've raised my headrest because I'm going to come off to the side of my reformer. I'm going to place one hand on, then the other. I'm going to bring my foot up and around. I'm going to kick it straight. And I'm going to raise my foot. From there, I'm going to press out and pull across. One red is light, so it might be too light for you. Feel free to add a blue. I'm moving not as far as I usually would. And one more. I'm going to drop down to my knees. That was a challenge. For this next part, is also a challenge. We're going to add a spring. I'm going to move my form back ever so slightly, so you can see the top of my head. I'm going to separate my feet so that my toes are tucked and my heels are pressing against the shoulder blocks. From there, I'm going to press out into a long stretch position. My shoulders are over my hands, over my wrists, and I'm raising my right leg up to an arabesque. I look down, my hips are square, my shoulders are square. I press back, I pull across. Here's 2. Lift your leg by squeezing your glutes. Just like we did on the side arm work. Here's 5. And here is 6. I'm going to place that foot down. I'm going to lift my left leg up. And I'm going to press back. Drawing my belly button to my spine. Wrapping my ribs. Not allowing my body to poo bear out the front. I feel my leg in the air shaking. Here's 5. And here is 6. From there, I'm going to place both my feet down. I'm not going to release my footwork for safety purposes with both hands. I'm going to take one hand off. Reach down, drop my right spring. From there, I'm going to separate my feet in front of my shoulder blocks, but in the middle of my carriage. We're going to be doing pikes to the long stretch position from here. The reason that we dropped a spring is because we moved our feet up on the carriage, thereby making the spring heavier. If you want to make it lighter, move your feet back to the shoulder block. Woo! This is a burner, right guys? From here, I'm going to press out. I'm not going to press out any further than where I am with my shoulders over my wrists, looking over my foot bar. And then I'm going to pull back under. And then I'm going to unfold my body. I'm trying to keep my top of my spine in neutral. Trying to keep my bottom of my body straight. My tail will tuck slightly when I pull in, but I'm leaving the rest of my body in as flat back as possible. Not like this, but just a flat back, guys. Like flat back elephant that we'll do in a minute. Here's 3. And 4. Here's 5. Squeeze your glutes. Draw your abdominals up and in. Shoulder blades flat and wide. Pull them apart as you press out. And now we're going to bend our knees, not moving our upper body, and squeeze it back like a knee stretch, which we will also be doing later. 2, 3, 4. I don't know about anybody else, but I am definitely sweating. 5, 6, and pike it back in. holding onto the foot bar. From there, we're going to rotate my feet. So I'm toe to heel. My feet are pointing to the left. I'm going to come out from a pike into a long stretch position with my obliques and pull my feet back under, squeezing my oblique to come back under. When I press out again, my shoulders are right over my wrists. My shoulder blades are flat. Don't lead with your head. Allow your head to follow the rest of your spine so that you're not cranking your neck. Here's 4. And up and in. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Squeeze with your inner thighs. Just squeeze your legs together at the tip top. And this next one will stay out there, and you guessed it, leaving your shoulders over your wrists. You're going to bend your knees in. Your back heel might pop off, and press it out. Pull it in. Abs up and in. Lifting up out of your side, closest to the spring so you're not sinking. 5. 1 more. And now pike it up and in. When you're carrying, just let the bumper pull in, just like we did in the warm-up breathing activity when we were sitting on our heels. Rotate your toes to the right side of the machine, so you're toe to heel. From there, leaving our shoulders over our wrists, we're going to press out to a pike, drawing up on your side closest to the spring, abs up and in, and pull it back under. And press it out. After working the other side, you might feel a nice little stretch out of your side that's up near the ceiling. 3. 4. Here's 5. And here's 6. Stay out, shoulder blades down your back, abs up and in. Square your shoulders to the foot bar. Draw your knees in. Heel will pop off. Press your heel down as you press out. And here's 2. 3. Keep breathing. 4. 5. And 6. And now pike it back up with control. Come back to the center. Take one hand off, leave the other hand on the foot bar for safety. Place the blue spring on. Go ahead and come down to your knees. Sit back on your heels real fast. Roll your shoulders up, back, and down. It's a lot of work. We are not done yet. Hands on your foot bar. Roll your shoulders up, back, and down. Squeezing your glutes strongly to press your hips forward in a chest expansion, back extension, swan style position. We're going to do down stretch where we press out and we roll down the inside of a round ball and we press up inside of a round ball. Never changing our body position. It's a fishbowl position. Shoulders up, back, and down. Shoulders down your back. Scapula wide. Squeezing your glute. And press down, coming over your knees quickly. And pull back up. Hinging at your arms. Just like we did in the breathing exercise. 3. 4. Abs up and in. Shoulders wide. Down your back. 5. Ribs together as if you're wearing a corset. And 6. Sit back slightly. Tuck your toes. We're going to pop up. Walk our feet in front of our shoulder blocks. We're going to press our weight back into our heels so we can lift our toes and wiggle them. Our weight's going to be on our foot, on the ball of our foot, behind our big toe, behind our baby toe, and our heel. Coming into a round back position. Dropping our tailbone, dropping our head between our biceps. Looking between our legs to the back inside frame of our reformer. We're going to squeeze our glutes to press the carrot back. And round our back using our lower abdominals to pull it in. And inhale and exhale. It should almost look as if someone's punching you in the stomach. Don't round your shoulder blades like I just did though. Here's 5, 6, 7, and here is 8. Bring it into the carriage. From there, we're going to come into a flat back position. We're going to press back a little bit further, really feeling it in our hamstrings. We're not rounded up anymore. We're in more of a flat back position. Our ears are still between our biceps. We're not popping out the front though. We're still drawn in. Our abs are still in. We're going to press back and pull it back under. Here's 2, 3, 4, 5. Squeeze your glutes and hamstrings and pull it back in. 7, and resist it back in. And here's 8, and resist. From there, keeping our hips and our shoulders square to the reformer below us, I'm going to take my foot through the headrest, squeeze it up to the back, squeezing my glute to lift my heel, keeping equal weight in my hands. Press it back, and exhale under. 1 and 2. Can you still lift your toes and wiggle? 3. Can you squeeze your glute to lift your leg higher? 4. Abs up and in, shoulders down your back. 7 and 8. And now, keep your shoulders square, splay your hip, squeeze the outside of your glute to lift your leg higher. Draw your abdominals up and in. 8 more. Press it back and pull it under. If this is too much for you, please feel free to continue with the last arabesque exercise or regular flat back. Look up, make sure your leg's not behind you. You want it in line. 2 more. And 8. Now, before you do anything else, square your body. Swing your foot back through with control. Place your foot back down. We get to do it all on the other side because we're lucky like that. Swing your foot back. Make sure you can lift your toes. Try to make sure that your heel is coming directly out of your sits bone. Press it back and under. Squeeze your glutes to lift your leg higher. Make sure that your ears are between your biceps. 3, 4. Wrapping your ribs. 6. Driving through your heel that you're standing on. And 8. Now leaving your shoulders square. Splay your hip. Lift your foot higher. Make sure it's coming out of your sits bone stuff. Here's 8. Inhale and exhale for 7. 6. Biceps between your ears. You don't look forward like I just did. It's easy to look around when you start to get uncomfortable. And 8. Before you do anything else, square your hips, square your shoulders. Allow your leg to float back through and place down on the couch. You guys did great. I'm going to carefully come down to my knees. I'm going to face the opposite direction. We're going to do chest expansion to open up our chest to begin. I'm going to place my hands through the straps. We've already done enough glute squeezing, so let's come on up. We don't need to warm up for that. I'm holding the tape. Under my hips. Placing my shoulders over my hips. I'm going to pull back. I'm going to look to the right, to the left, to the center, and release. When I squeeze back, I'm squeezing back with the bottom tips of my shoulder blades, as opposed to the top, like we talked about earlier. So I don't scrunch my shoulders to my ears. I'm also thinking of driving my hands down, away from my ears, as I pull back. Drawing my abdominals strongly up and in to protect my low back. Squeezing my glutes and wrapping my ribs. Let's do one more. Left, right, center, and release. From there, we're going to float our hands up. We are going to do thigh stretch. So, holding on to my plastic, widen my shoulder blades. I'm going to hinge back as if my body's between 2 panes of glass. I'm going to challenge you to not go back as far as you normally do, so that you can maintain control of your scapula, and then float it back up. Feel yourself growing taller. So, really feel the front of your shin and the front of your foot driving down as you squeeze your glutes, open up your hip flexors, and draw your shoulder blades down your back. And inhale. Go back a little bit further if you can. And exhale, lift, maintaining control of your scapula. Inhale. Do we have two more? I hope we do. And inhale. Otherwise, please sit to child's pose position. One more. Not as far back as you would normally go. We're working on our scapula flat today. And exhale. Back up. From there, I'm going to go ahead, replace my handles. We have one more challenging flow to go. And then, it's not really a flow so much as a segment of the routine. And then we're going to go ahead and do some feet and straps and a final stretch. So, just a few more minutes, guys, that's all. We're going to come down. I'm going to tuck my toes, press my heels back to the shoulder block. Take my arms flat and wide, so I put my shoulder blades down my back. Draw my ribs and draw my belly. I'm going to round back. Look down between my legs. Same body position I had for elephant. Biceps between your ears. Now, without tucking your tail to get back, we're going to maintain this curve as we press back our glutes and hamstrings, leaving our shoulders down our back and pull back under. Remember earlier when we did the push-ups on the foot bar for a warm-up, and I said, allow the foot bar to help you drive your shoulder blades down. Same idea. Allow them to drive your shoulder blades flat and wide. I have a slight bend in my elbows. Here's 5, 6. Don't lose your C-shaped curve. Keep drawing your pelvis towards your nose. And 8. And now I'm going to press back into a flat back position. My ears are higher than my biceps at this point. My tailbone is still hovering off my tail. I have not changed my spring. Still one red, one blue, one medium, one light. Press back and under and back. Squeeze. 5 and 6. Abs up and in. Ribs together. Here's 7 and 8. If this is your comfort level, please stay here. For those that would like to, we're going to add on. I'm going to take my right foot, my ball of my foot's on the edge, very edge of my carriage. My toes are wrapped around the front edge of my carriage. I'm going to come up. I'm down. I'm in a flat back position. My knee is hovering an inch or two off the mat, and I'm going to press back with both legs, straightening my left leg and come back in. 1, 2. Abs up and in. 3. Shoulders down. 4. Good. 5. Lunge it back. 6. Here's 7. Squat down even further. I know you lost that hover. And 8. Stand up carefully. Place your feet so that your right foot, toes are tucked. Foot against the shoulder block. Shimmy your left foot forward. Come up on the balls of your feet. Wrap your toes around the front. Come down into that runner squat position. Widen your shoulder blades and press back and under. Abs up and in. Hover your knee just an inch or 2. 3. Shoulder blades wide. 4. We're almost there. 5. 6. 7. Checking my notes. And 8. Okay. We're going to stand up carefully on the carriage. Don't take your hands off the bar. Step off to one side. Maintaining our flat back position. Trying to keep our shoulders closer to our wrists over the foot bar. Well, actually not right here, I'm sorry. Just in a flat back position. We're going to bend our knees down so they're lined up with each other. I've tucked my toes, put my heels against the shoulder block. I'm not rounded in. I'm in the flat back position, shoulder blades wide. I'm going to press back and bend. The inside of my left leg is touching the frame of the carriage. 5, 6, bend lower. 7, bend that knee more. 8. Now, without losing the bend, take your carriage foot, rotate it to the top of the headrest, turn out your foot so the inside of your foot is parallel to the carriage. Wrap your ribs, belly up and in, flat back, and 6, 7, and 8. And now, stand up briefly. We're going to do a challenge set of exercises in a flying arabesque to a flying passe knee position to a flying passe cross knee position, opposite knee, opposite elbow. We'll go through it. I'm going to bring my foot a little bit closer to the foot bar. Press down. I'm going to press back into a flat back. So I'm not rounded. I might have to tuck my tail a little bit more to get there. This is not an Eve's lunge, as I've been reminded myself. I'm going to press back. As the carriage comes in, I'm coming with a straight leg and I'm going to hover my foot. I'm rounding slightly my low back. Place my foot back down. Just a flat back. And press up. My trainer reminded me the other day, this is not an Eve's lunge. And in. From here, we're going to do a passe, or bent knee. Bringing my toes to the inside of my knee. Bringing my knee to my outside elbow. And down. And lift with control. And down. Wide shoulder blades. This is not an exercise where we're letting go of our shoulder blades. We're still working on bringing your shoulders down your back. And now passe, bringing my toes to my knee to my opposite elbow. And down. Shoulders wide. And 2. And here's 3. And one more exercise. Come in and float your leg up by squeezing your glute. And down. And squeeze it up. Do not sway out in your back and round through your front and extension for this. And down. Bend your back knee to come in. That is harmful to your low back and your lumbar spine. I'm going to drop one spring. I'm going to drop my medium spring so I have one light for me, this one blue. Now we're going to do Eve's lunge because we earned it. I'm going to bring my toe to the front of the wood. Tuck my tail under. Rest my knee on the carriage. If you had knee problems, place a pad or a towel underneath your knee for assistance. And I'm going to sink, leaving my upper body up in a back extension position. I'm going to sink in so I can really feel the front of that hip opening. I'm going to raise right back up, straight back up, just like we did on all those lower lifts or side arms. I'm going to lower back down. I'm going to raise back up. One more, guys, and then we get to do all of this on the other side. And then, of course, we get feet and straps and the stretchy, indeed. And back up. Okay, before we go to the other side, let's add our one medium spring back. So we have one medium, one light. For me, that is one red and one blue. I'm going to place both hands on the foot bar. Bring my left leg or my inside leg to the reformer. Tuck my toes, press my heel against the shoulder block. Bend both knees so that they're lined up and they're even. And then I'm going to press back my shoulder blades down my back and squeeze my glutes. 3. I'm still in a flat back position. 4. Ooh, my wrist got hold me for a second. Caught that. I'm pressing my inside and my standing leg into the reformer for additional support. 1 more. Now, without standing up, I'm going to squat in deeper. I'm going to rotate my carriage foot so that it's on the top of my headrest. The inside of my foot is parallel to my carriage. I'm going to squeeze it back, working a different side of my hip glute area. Shoulder blades flat and wide down your back. Abs up and in. Ribs together. 7. Flat back. And 8. Good. Now, we get to do our flying arabesque series. I'm going to walk my foot up ever so gently, just a little bit further. Not as far as for Eve's lunge because we'll lose the help of the springs. I'm still in a flat back position. I am pushed back a little bit further than my shoulders over my wrist in a lunge. I'm not in an Eve's lunge yet. Right here. From there, I'm going to take my tail around, hover my right leg off the floor. And then I'm going to come back down with control. And then I'm going to take my tail, look back and hover. Shoulders flat and wide. And down. Let's do more. Separate your hands a little bit more if you feel like your shoulders are coming together. And down. Now for the parallel passe. Oops, too low, Emily. I'm going to float it up. Toe to knee. knee to nose, knee to outside elbow, float it down, and lift. One more in this variation. Inhale, exhale, passe, opposite knee, opposite elbow, and lower, and lift, and lower, and round your back to come up, and lower, and now flat back again for the arabesque with control. Float it up, 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 and then lift your leg, and down, ooh, and float up, 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 and lift, and lower. Don't go to Eve's lunge like I've been doing. I keep catching myself. And float up, 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 up. And lower. Bend your back knee to bring the carriage in. Drop your medium spring so you have one light. Walk your toes to the frontward edge of your reformer. Knee on the mat. Squeeze your glutes, press your hip forward. Roll your shoulders up and down. Press down into an Eve stretch. Down, leaving our chest up, abs up and in. Ooh, this was a very hard routine. So if you made it this far, congratulations. And back up. From there, I'm going to change my handles over for feet straps. I'm going to go ahead and drop my headrest now, because we're going to be doing some leg circles with a variation. We're going to need to drop our headrest. I'm going to change my springs to too heavy or too greens for me. Whatever your footwork or your feet and strap springs are. Press it with one foot. Place my foot in the strap. Press out to the other. Coming down into a frog position. Shimmy away from my shoulder blocks ever so slightly. I'm going to flip my palms up to the ceiling to facilitate my shoulders widening on the mat a little bit more between my ribs in. I'm going to press out and pull in. This is also forcing me to use more stabilizing muscles because I've taken my arms out of the equation. 5, 6, 7, and again. Please don't forget to keep breathing, even though it feels nice. Squeeze your glutes to press out, and now open your arms wide to the side. Feel the stretch in your inner thigh, and squeeze them back together, and open. Keep them at the same height the whole time. So where they start here, they'll end up the same distance on the floor over here. Good. If you need a little bit of a change with your arms, go ahead and bring them to the wide huggage tree or second position. Again, while we're here, go ahead and feel or look in to see if any part of your body is taking over and popping a hip up. Draw that hip down so that each hip is equally grounded into the mat. Let's do one more. Now, float your legs up to the ceiling. Flex your feet to lower, squeezing both legs together, and point to lift. And flex to lower. When you get to the top, keep your sacrum grounded. As you float it back up. Squeeze with your glutes and hamstrings. Again, take your arms wherever you'd like right now. Just don't use them in your footwork exercises, not even right here. But make sure your ribs are clear. You'll feel that in your low back tomorrow. And float it back up. Now turn your feet out to Pilates feet. Open wide, feeling the stretch in your inner thigh, and flex to close. Here's 2. Here's 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. And 8. And now, we're going to press our feet down to the center, open to the side, and float them back up. Because up, we're going to peel off our spine just a little bit. It's about where 12 through 8, and lower it back down. My hands are our platform down by my side now. I still have nice wide shoulder blades. And lower. Just 3. And lower. Now, anchor your sacrum. And open. Wide. Now lift to the 12th rib. Drawing your belly button, your spine. And lower. And now we're going to reverse. We're going to open. Circle our legs wide. Squeeze them through center. Draw them up through the center. Lift with your lower abdominals. And lower. It just feels kind of nice after all of that flat back work to articulate through our lower spine a little bit. 3. And open. And squeeze. And up. And articulate. Nothing major. We're just standing our straps slightly. Draw it into a frog. Take one foot out. Locate the foot bar. Stretch your legs straight. Take your other strap off. Come in. I'm going to peg my straps. We're going to do a mermaid variation. If this does not work for you, please feel free to do mermaid crisscross applesauce in the Z-sit position with your top leg shin pressed against the shoulder block, or in classical mermaid position. Otherwise, I'm going to drop it down to one heavy spring, which is one green spring on my machine. I'm going to take my top leg through my headrest. I'm going to shimmy my bottom leg all the way back to my shoulder block. Draw my abdominals up and in. Bend at my elbow. Draw my shoulder blade down my back. My palm on my extended leg is stretched up to the ceiling. I'm going to stretch it out and reach over the foot bar. I'm going to bend my bottom arm. Drawing my shoulder down my back to float myself up. Place my hand on my extended leg and reach over into the well for a counter stretch. Place my hand back on the foot bar and extend and reach. Drawing my ribs up and in, bending my elbow, and reaching up and over. One more. We're going to add on a swan dive style addition to this. If you have shoulders, neck, back issues, please do not do this exercise. Please just do a regular swan and do an additional one if you like. And we're going to stretch over. I'm going to float my leg up. I'm going to rotate my body into the springs. Place both hands on the foot bar. Try to rotate my hips towards the side, my shoulders towards the springs, and I'm going to press up, leaving the lift on my leg. And as I press out, I'm going to lift my leg higher as I drop my chest. Ribs are in, abs are in. Here's 2. Same hinge exercise from the beginning of class, just with a twist. I'm going to leave my leg in this raised position right here. Press out one more time. Bring my back hand forward. Float my top hand off. Rotate to the outside. Bend my elbow in. Draw my shoulder down my back. And reach across my body into the wall for a counter stretch. Good. From there, I'm going to carefully rotate my body to face the other side of my machine. Again, you're welcome to do the exercise in the position that I just did without the add-on of the swan dive. You're welcome to do traditional mermaid. You're welcome to sit crisscross applesauce or Z-sit with the top leg, shin, pressing into your shoulder blocks. I'm going to press my bottom shin into my shoulder blocks, extend my leg long into the well over the headrest, place my hand on the foot bar, draw my shoulder strap back and down, flip my hand on my extended leg up towards the ceiling, press out, draw my shoulders down, and reach long, lifting up out of my side closest to the springs, across my foot bar. Bend my elbow in, draw my shoulder down my back, and reaching across for a counter stretch. Place my hand back down, and reach over, reaching long, shoulders flat and wide, down my back, ribs in, abs up and in. Press up, and press over into the well. One more. Place my hand on the foot bar. I'm going to press out and float my leg up. Reaching across. I'm going to look into the well. Place my hand down. Place my back hand to the back. From there, I'm going to come in, leaving my leg raised. And as I press out, I'm going to lift my leg higher by squeezing my glute as I dive down towards my springs. Abs up and in. ribs together, and lift. And leading my hips towards the side of my reformer, and back. Bring your leg down, still hovering. Bring your back hand forward, float your top hand off, look towards the side. Bend your elbow in as you come up. Then take one more, counter stretch into the well. Guys, that was a very hard routine. I hope that you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for joining me. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I hope that you guys have a great day. Thank you.